What's up? Welcome into your Buckeye Rush Hour for a Friday, March 8th, 2024. Happy to have all of you in here with me. Hope you guys are having a good end to your week, good start to the weekend. Got a little cocktail poured here. When you start feeling a little tired on a Friday afternoon, just make a little cocktail. A little vodka sour. Sour is really just lemon juice and honey. So, anywho, that's what we're getting into. Just it does wets your whistle, especially when it's warm out. Like I think we cracked 80 degrees again today, so summer's already started early down here. Humidity's in the fucking 90%. So I love that. I love having sticky armpits. Who doesn't? But anyways, hope the weather is good where you are across this fine country of ours. Today we're going to talk spring practice, spring news and updates. We're going to get into position by position, top to bottom, in and out. We've got a boom right off the bat. We'll get to your questions and comments. Don't be afraid to drop them in the chat. I will get to those. I don't think Jeff or Sean are joining us today, but I'll keep an eye out just in case. So, yeah, a lot going on this week. Interviews with both coaches, all the coaches, honestly, all the important ones. Knowles, Ryan Day, Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly was holding court, wasn't he? He looked happier than a pig in shit up there at his press conference. But so let's hit with the boom right off the bat. Buckeyes land at 6'7", 255-pound Australian punter Nick McGlarty, of the Australian McGlartys. Fine Irishman, I'm sure. He's a former Aussie rugby player. He will be considered part of the 2024 class. All right. Currently, we do not have a scholarship punter on the roster. We got two guys that are paying their own way, but I don't know if NIL is helping with them or if they're just literally paying their own way with no reimbursement. But anyways, so that's a big get, especially at 6'7". I don't think you want to run into this guy on punt return. This guy will take your fucking head off, man. And hey, maybe he's got some wheels too. We could run that fake punt again like we did against Rutgers that got Shiano all hot and bothered. So I like to see Shiano approach this guy with his red ass. So awesome. Love to get another Irishman on the team. McGlarty. Watch out for these guys in a couple of weeks on St. Patrick's Day. Holy shit. Better tie them up somewhere. But anyways, Iron Buckeye Award. We might get into some recruiting later if we have time and you guys are interested. But Iron Buckeye Award was given out to three guys on the team: Sonny Styles, Davison Igbinosun, and Josh Fryer. Of course, it's kind of Mick Mariotti's award that he gives out for people that busted their ass in the off season, in this winter workout season before spring ball, and it's a way of recognizing these guys, and it's awesome. I mean, Sonny Styles doesn't surprise me. Davison Igbinosun, that's good. I like to see corners busting their ass in the weight room. And then Josh Fryer definitely needed to get better in many areas. So we'll get into him a little later as we talk about the offensive line. I do need to get an updated list of who is not practicing. I know Bryce West was one of them that Jerry mentioned the other day. Court Williams, he tore his ACL last August. He's not practicing. Malik Hartford, I believe, had a shoulder surgery. And I'm kind of lost on the others. There's like 5 or 6 maybe. I'll try and look that up if I get a moment. So anyways, let's dig into the quarterbacks here. I'll kind of give you what I have from who took reps in what order. Usually it's the veteran guys. So quarterback, Devin Brown was first in all the drills. Will Howard second. Lincoln Keenholz was third. He's also going through his first spring because he was a mid-season enrollee last summer. So this is officially Lincoln's first winter workouts. And it kind of showed, if you saw any photos or video of Lincoln up close, he's put on some weight, muscle for sure. But his first winter workout and first spring ball. We'll see how he comes along. Then you got the true freshman, Julian Sayin, Aaron Nolan. Aaron Nolan was the best at throwing the ball into a net. Good job. Devin Brown took first team reps in 11 on 11. So I think that's important to note. Now, with all these guys and the order in which they're taking reps, you got to remember this is just spring. This order might not change until we're done with spring. I think it will definitely change in fall. So this is not ironclad, for forever. Then you got running backs, Trey Henderson, the veteran there, because he is a year older than Quinshawn. Then you got Quinshawn taking second team, Dallin Hayden, third team, James Peoples, and Sam Dixon. Williams. Trey said he's happy to have Judkins splitting the carries. And Quinshawn was, he was repping behind Trey. Trey said that he really liked James Peoples and SWD, how mature they are, very mature. He said, quote, "That's one thing I respect about the freshman class is how mature they are and how they are on top of their business. And they stand on their business. I stand on their business." Whatever that means, I don't know. Kids are saying it nowadays. Then you got receivers. Emeka, he talked a lot about the younger guys. Of course, he had some words about Jeremiah Smith. Everybody says the same thing, freak. That's the one word. It's like short, concise, to the point, freak, boom, done, period. But no, Emeka went on. He said, freak athlete. He put his head down and worked. There's nothing he can't do. He runs fast. He jumps high. He's strong. He's a natural pass catcher. I mean, yeah, he's a freak. I think he has a bright future here. Yeah, I would say it's a fair bet. Emeka also talked about Carnell Tate getting ready for a bigger role. He said, quote, Carnell's been ready. He's been ready since he was in high school. All right. Emeka talked about Brandon Ennis. Quote, Brandon doesn't get enough praise. He's as mature as anyone I've ever seen. He handles his business. He's a super competitor too. Him coming in with Carnell helped a lot because they push each other every single day. I'm super excited for Brandon's future. He is wise beyond his years. He's learning the offense lightning quick. He's very talented in pass catching, run after the catch, big play. There's nothing he can't do. So excellent words. Not that you expect, Emeka to bang on somebody. He's too nice a guy. But, he didn't even avoid anything there, like say he's good at something, but better at one thing than another. So he really, those three guys really sound like studs. Jaden Ballard was, doing well in spring ball, but again, he's done that for like 4 years. And who else do we have here? Not a lot of input, at least from the beat writers, about Grays or Antwi doing much of anything. Bryson Rogers put on a little bit of weight, so that's good. He definitely needed it. And of course, Mylan Graham is not on campus yet. So that's it for the wide receiver room. But I do love the comments about guys that are going to be definite impact players with Jeremiah, Tate, and Ennis. Tight ends, Will Kazmarek was the starting tight end during the first team reps. So that's a deviation where, gee, Scott, you would think, being the veteran, the incumbent tight end that's been with the program for a long time, you would think he would have been the starter with first team reps. No, Will Kazmarek. So he brings some versatility. He's got the blocking ability, which is key in this offense, and he can catch the ball. So look for Will Kazmarek maybe to be your starting tight end. We'll see. Not ready to put that in stone yet, but I promise I will get to your comments and questions. I see them loading up there. It's good to see PC back in, so that's good. Offensive line. So I've got a 2 deep of how guys went through the reps here. Hold on, I need a sip. Fruity and delicious. All right. So you got returning starters, Josh Simmons, Donovan Jackson, Carson Hinsman. Now working in at right guard is where we've got to replace Matt Jones. You got Luke Montgomery working in there. That would be my choice just without even seeing anything. Then you got Josh Fryer and Tegra Shabola working at right tackle. So interesting there that they're still trying to shoehorn Tegra into a tackle position. Remember, we went through this shit like a year ago. Tegra is a guard, in my opinion. Anyways, we'll see how that plays out. Then you had Seth McLaughlin, the transfer center from Alabama, working with the second team O-line. I'm sure that's going to be a little bit of a battle with Hinsman. I wouldn't be surprised if McLaughlin wins that out. And I don't think it's going to be a matter of moving the center that loses that battle over to guard. I don't think that's in the cards at all. I think it's strictly, starter, backup, no matter who it is. If it's McLaughlin starting and then Hinsman backing him up or vice versa. But I don't think the loser of that center position is moving to the right guard. There was speculation, of course, wildly this offseason. So here's the 2 deep as they went through reps in practice. Left tackle, Josh Simmons, Zen Mahalski behind him. Left guard, Donovan Jackson. Austin Severell, second-year guy, behind him. Center was Carson Hinsman. Behind him, Seth McLaughlin. Right guard, Luke Montgomery. Then the longtime 6-year guy, Enoch Lamahi, behind him. Then right tackle, Fryer, and Tegra behind him. Donovan Jackson talked about Josh Simmons. He said, quote, Josh has taken great strides in terms of just the film room getting better. Obviously, he has a year under his belt now, so he's expected to play faster and more free. He's been more confident in himself, and that's all you can do as a guy who has had a year under his belt. So he has a year under his belt. We got it. So yeah, we need Josh Simmons to be like at the peak of his powers week 1. D-line. Yeah, let's talk about defense here. Let's flip it over. Knowles had some interesting quotes. I'm sure you guys have heard them, but I'll just point out a couple of things here. He talked about a double eagle package. Now, let's not take this and run with it and run amok like we do, which I blame the Buckeye beat for sometimes. They will take a little quote like this, a double eagle package. Ooh, what's that? It's a new shiny thing. Look over here. It's new and shiny. This is probably rarely going to be used, but I do love the thought. So let's dive into the world of Jim Knowles and his craziness. I love the creativity. Honestly, that's what I like the most, is that we're not just, in a box where we just have to run out the same 4-2-5 every down. So I love the creativity. Let's get into it. So the defensive ends as edge rushing linebackers would be on the outside of 3 interior linemen. So you got 3 D linemen in the middle. He was saying it depends on how Hero Canoe develops. If he shows he's ready, then you got Ty Hamilton, Hero Canoe, Tyleek Williams in some kind of configuration in the middle. Then you got Jack and JT on the outsides playing like rush ends, or they could drop in coverage like into the flat or cover a tight end, running back, whatever. So that's the thought here. 5, you're basically doing a 5-man front. Okay. Knowles said, quote, my thoughts are with Jack and JT that at some point I want to train them as outside linebackers. So if you got Hero, Tyleek, and Ty, and you can get to more of 5 guys, 5 D linemen in the game with training guys like Jack and JT and Kenyatta to play outside linebacker. It's just kind of in my thoughts. Like if we're strong inside, those guys can become more multiple. I think it's techniques and things that they can use when they get to the next level. So that's kind of my thoughts too. So he's saying these using these guys as outside linebackers, Jack, JT, Kenyatta, helps with their NFL draftability, their diversity, an old wooden ship from the Civil War. No, helps with just their ability to be multiple and show, they can line up in different areas, not just be a hand in the dirt, DN, rush edge or whatever. So I love it. I love the thought. A 5-man front would have been useful against the cheaters last few years if you had the dudes. I don't know. Anyways, I'm not going to dwell on that. Also, Caden McDonald, he's picking up some momentum here in his second season. Remember, we saw him lining up in the backfield as a fullback in the Cotton Bowl. So dude's athletic as hell. He's got the size. He's getting his body in shape. So I want to see more Caden McDonald. I got to think he cracks it 2 deep on the inside. So we'll see you there. Linebackers. So you got some interesting things going on here. Your Mike is Cody Simon, without a doubt. No questions there. But now you got Sonny Styles, 100% linebacker versus CJ Hicks, the guy that's been a linebacker but hasn't gotten on the field at all. I mean, very little. So during 11-on-11s this week in practice, CJ Hicks took the first team reps. Sonny took second team reps. Sonny is checking in at 6'4", 235 pounds. This guy, I think Cody Simon said the other day that they always joke with Sonny because he's bigger than all the linebackers in the room. He is. I mean, it's pretty funny. So Jim Knowles had a quote here about the linebackers. He said, quote, "You're always going to look to get the best 11 on the field, right? So when you look at 12 personnel, a 12 personnel set, you say, okay, I got Sonny, Cody, and CJ as the 3 linebackers. With the 4 down linemen, could we have another component with Jack and JT and 3 defensive tackles, Cody and Sonny, or Cody and CJ as 2 linebackers? I think who's going to be the best 11 against bigger sets? Could it possibly be Hero versus having a 3rd linebacker? Could it be 3 tackles? That's in my thoughts. So he's kind of going back to that double eagle talk, but he's focusing more on linebackers there. And which linebackers do you go with? So going to be interesting to see. I'm concerned, and I know we talked about it last Sunday night on the TBC Weekly, and I know that people get irritated when you question whether CJ Hicks should play or not. And it's like, why? I still have not gotten a good reason why CJ Hicks has to play. Consistency, his position coach has said, consistency is the problem. His teammates have said, mental part of the game. Steel Chambers has said he needs to learn the defense. This is all within the last 2 weeks. This has all been said. So I think we got to pump the brakes there. And then if you want CJ Hicks on the field, then where does Sonny go? I hate to say it, but you can't have your cake and eat it too sometimes. As much as I try to. All right. I'm sure that'll fire everybody up. Can't question CJ Hicks for some reason. He's like the golden child, even though he's never done anything on the field. I love the guy. So I don't want to be painted as the CJ Hicks hater. Last year, I was painted into being the Kyle McCord defender, about this time last year. I'm not a CJ Hicks hater. I'm just trying to figure out who's the best linebacker. If we only play 2 most of the time, who's the best weak side linebacker? And I can't imagine a world where Sonny Styles is on the bench and CJ Hicks is in the game. Yeah. Anyways, that'll get you all fired up on a Friday. Speaking of, drop this fire. All right. Finishing up here with the corners and safeties. Not a lot changed here, not a lot of movement. I mean, you got young guys coming in with Aaron Scott, Bryce West not practicing, but Scott Miles Lockhart is in there sticking his nose in the practices. So you got Burke, Hancock, IGB at your starting corners. Then behind them, I'm curious to see who comes in behind Hancock at the slot. We haven't really heard much there. I mean, I know Miles Lockhart is penciled in to be a slot at some point, but he's a true freshman. I mean, he's got to put on some weight and learn the defense. So I don't think that's an option this season. But can Calvin Simpson Hunt slide over there? Jermaine Matthews, I think, is a true outside corner, but who slides down there? Maybe Lorenzo Styles Jr. Can he slide over there and play that slot position? So we'll see what happens there. And then safeties. Not a lot of movement there. We know Caleb Downs is in. Jim Knowles had a quick quote about Caleb Downs. He said, quote, "He picks things up quickly. He plays like a veteran. The thing you notice about a player like Caleb is that he still makes mistakes, but he corrects them immediately. That's what you're looking for out of players. If you make mistakes, can you correct it by the next play? That's what I've seen so far." So, yeah, you got Lathan is back at the strong safety. Caleb is obviously the deep, and we just talked about Hancock and who's behind Hancock. That's the big question there. So, punt returners, you guys might be pumped about the punt returners. We led off with some special teams talk. Now let's finish with some special teams talk. Punt returners were Emeka, Jeremiah Smith, Jaden Ballard, Brandon Innes, Jermaine Matthews, hello, and Bryson Rogers. So I think we know where the Buckeyes are going to lean there without even getting into it. So, all right, let's get into the chat. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Starting from the top. Here we go. I'm going to need a drink. All right, Odysseus, first man in. He says, OH, nuts, nuts, nuts. IO to you. PC says IO. Jeremiah, what's up, Jeremiah? Peace hands, or prayer hands. And Big Red O. PC says, sup, Odie and crew. Odysseus says, apparently Will Howard is already a bust. Sarcasm. Yeah. I don't know. $1 million for Will Howard, by the way. Hope he starts. Otherwise, you're going to have some angry investors. Anyways, but yeah, that's a good one. Odysseus. PC says, dang, Joe, that thing will put your ass to sleep. What? I was falling asleep before. This is going to get me jacked up. Going to probably say a lot of things I shouldn't. So win, win, win. PC says, I love the move of Sonny to linebacker. Who are our safeties now? Yeah, I just touched on that to the end. I'm sure you caught it. Odysseus says, can he be our next Johnston? That's a good question. At 6'7", I saw a video of this fucking guy kick the ball 90 yards out of a stadium or out of the practice field. You guys see this shit? Holy crap. I'll pull it up for you real quick since we got time. You guys don't have anywhere to be. Let me see if I can pull this up. Hold up. This guy is hold up. Share screen. There you go. Nope. There we go. Okay. So I don't know how wide their fields are, but that went over the press box or whatever. They said it was 90 yards. I don't know. I don't think they measure by yards over there, do they? Or do they? So he went boom up into the trees. Respect. Respect, young lad. I wonder how old this guy is. It's probably like 35. Anyways, so that's pretty awesome. Back to the chat. Oh, Stephen Cherry, eyeballs. Yeah, he likes a good, nice big punter, don't you? PC says, I know Downs and Ransom, but who else? Hancock thought he was a corner. Yeah, well, it depends on what kind of nomenclature you're using. If you're talking corners, he's a slot corner. If you're talking safeties, he's a nickel safety. I mean, they change the words, but it's the same freaking position. So yeah, Hancock's the guy there. Odysseus says Hartford and Carter will push for playing. Oh, that's right. Jahad Carter, I think, was another one of the guys that was not practicing this spring. So don't know what's going on with him. The guy's been injured more than he's played. PC says, where is a good source / place to look to see who loses their black stripe? Of course, I always listen to you, but where do you get it from? I just peruse the internet, 11 Warriors, I think they put them out all the time. Twitter is usually where I see them. Twitter. But yeah, I don't really keep track of the black stripes as closely as maybe I should, but thanks PC for always listening here. We appreciate you coming back. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers, by the way, so I appreciate you guys hitting the like button as always. Make sure you're subscribed. If we hit 3,000, I'm gonna have Sean bake a cake or something. Get a stripper or 10. That's not gonna happen. Anyway, Jeremiah says, as loaded as this Ohio State team is, already looking forward to the spring game, even though it's still next month. It's going to be worth the wait to see this one. I agree with you. I'm going to be interested to see some of the depth behind these starting guys. You know who's starting pretty much across the board except a quarterback and receiver, but for the most part, especially on defense. PC says, I know it's cliche and taboo to say, but this season, for me at least, is natty or bust. I know we should never say that, but if not now, when? I think I've said it every year. I'm pretty sure Sean has said it on our Sunday night show. I think it's always natty or bust. Even in like last year with the QB controversy and the QB battle, we had McCord versus Devin, and I still say it's natty or bust. If the Buckeyes finish that drive against the cheaters, it could have been a completely different story. Anyways, and now everybody's pissed. Odysseus says, every year a natty is the ultimate goal. Yeah, exactly. Badass Buckeye, what's up, Bab? Says, we will only go as far as Howard and Brown can take us. Georgia and Texas are the teams to beat. Yeah, for sure. Got another returning starter there at Georgia. Returning starting quarterback at Texas as well. So looks like Texas lost a little bit of depth there at receiver. Thank God. But same with Georgia, lost quite a bit of firepower on the outside, but they're just reloading for sure. PC says, starting wide receiver, Egbuka, Tate, and Smith with some healthy rotation, I'm hoping. Ballard and Ennis, maybe Rogers. Okay. So you already got Jeremiah Smith penciled in the starting rotation. That's aggressive. Any update on helmet comms? That's a big one for me. Yeah, I know everybody loves the helmet comms, but the Buckeyes have actually been practicing with them. Cody Simon talked about it, I think it was Thursday in his interviews, that so what they're doing is they're practicing with one guy on offense, obviously the quarterback, one guy on defense, obviously the middle linebacker, with the helmet comms only. And they shut off. The proposal is they shut off at like 15 seconds to go in the play, on the play clock, or when the ball is snapped, whichever comes first. So the rules committee has to officially vote on that. I don't know how they don't pass it, but again, NCAA is nothing but efficient, right? I think it's going to happen. So I wouldn't worry about that one. It's just a matter of time. Odysseus says Montgomery brings the athleticism at guard. Chip Kelly wants for his run schemes. I like that. Yeah. He's definitely going to be able to pull when you want to pull a guy around to the other side and lay somebody out. Montgomery's definitely got the athleticism. That's why I personally would rather have him at tackle, at right tackle. Fucking move Fryer or Tagra down to guard. But just me. Odysseus says, save double eagle for the cheaters November 30th. Yes. Yeah, we could have probably used that, but definitely going to use that against those clowns. PC says we definitely should be more creative in all phases of the game. I agree. PC says more creativity and more rotation on the D line will go a long, long way. Yep. That's the thing across the board. I've been trying to reiterate this point, and it goes to your point, PC. Across the board at all positions, you're going to have to see more depth playing early in the year. And I'm talking about these shit games that are coming here, the first 4 weeks of the season, these non-con games. You got to manage these blowouts better, Ryan Day, and the staff, position coaches. Get the young guys in there, if nothing else, to save the old guys' legs. You're going to be playing a 16-game season, possibly 17 if you don't get a bye in the first round. You got to take care of these guys' bodies. It should be obvious to the coaching staff. So yeah, I'm with you. You got to rotate everybody, not just D-line, everybody. It's going to help in the long run with these guys' development, especially the young guys. So Odysseus says more rats leaving the sinking ship. 0-4 Mike, little brother Hart leaving. Oh yeah, I thought he already left. He's jumping ship. Yeah, not surprised. Was he that good a coach anyways? I mean, I could see how he's a good recruiter. He got Jordan Marshall, out of Ohio, but just because he played, I think that's the only reason some of these guys are good recruiters, like a Mike Hart. PC says, I really do want to see Hicks on the field. Going to be tough to work him in with Sonny and Cody. Yeah. Yeah, if you go 3 linebackers, which is rare, then you can have all 3 on the field. We'll see how it works out. Odysseus says, I thought Knowles may rotate Hicks and Sonny in certain packages. That's true, you could, because the more Sonny's on the field, the more versatile your defense becomes, because you can have him line up at a linebacker position, but he can cover people. If a team comes out in 12 personnel with 2 tight ends, Sonny can be an extra cover guy. Lathan covers the other tight end. You got Sonny covering a tight end. So, and if they want to run the ball out of 12, Sonny is fucking 235. I don't think he's going to miss the tackle. So he's not going to slide down the stripper pole, right? So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they rotate these guys in. Steve says finally some athletes on the field. Linebacker, yeah. Odysseus says Sonny needs to be on opposing tight ends. Didn't go well when Simon was covering. No, middle linebackers should not be covering anybody, in my opinion. Ever. It never goes well. That's why you got weak side linebackers, to cover somebody. That's why you got strong safeties to freaking cover tight ends, So yeah, I agree. Sage, Ohio. Hello, Buckeyes. Hello, Sage. How are you? One of my favorite seasonal spices. Sage says, if Kelly is on the field for games, does that put Hartline in the booth? That's a good question. I kind of doubt Hartline wants to go up in the booth because he's not really managing the offense or the play calling or anything. I think Kelly has to be in the booth, right? I mean, theoretically, they could both be on the field, which is not impossible. I got no problem with that. But yeah, I like Kelly up in the booth. I don't think Hartline goes up there though, because he's got to be down there to manage his receivers. I don't think he wants to hand off that duty to somebody else because Hartline's not doing anything else. He's managing the receivers. He's not having input, on play to play on what's being called. So I think he has to stay on the field. I would be shocked if Kelly stays on the field, honestly. Stephen Cherry says, is it true Keenan Bailey got into a fight with one of the strength coaches in front of the team? That's what Zach Smith says. I don't know. He would know, I guess, maybe. Can't tell you. Kind of sounds like Keenan Bailey might have lost his head if that's the case. If he actually did get in a fight with anybody, forget strength coach, it doesn't matter. Keenan Bailey's got to tighten it up. That's sloppy and uncalled for. He's got to be better. I don't give a shit who started it. You got to be smarter than that when you're a position coach trying to climb the ladder. Think about you can't fucking start a fight, or get into a fight even, so hopefully not. But if it did happen, I'm sure we won't hear about it. They're not going to talk about it. But who knows? Odysseus says, I think Kelly has to be in the box. I'm agreeing with you, Odysseus. Sage says, he said either or, leaving it up to Day. Yeah, I'm sure they'll have a conversation about that. They'll probably experiment in the spring game with that. It'll be interesting. Or maybe they'll just all be on the field for the spring game, and we won't get to see it play out. Sage says helmet comm is long overdue. That's right, it is. See the cheaters. PC says, I said last year, if we drop a game, it'll be because of the old line. Same this year. Yeah, pretty much. That's fair. I will say, keep an eye out for the second portal window opening here right after the spring game. I think it's 3 days after the Ohio State spring game. The portal opens up for like a short time period, week and a half, something like that. It's either 7 or 10 days. Anyways, that's when the Buckeyes landed Josh Simmons last year, was after spring. So keep an eye out for that. The Buckeyes know they need more starter level help on the O-line, especially right tackle. That's why I'm all for Luke Montgomery getting a couple cracks at that position, not just guard, So I say give Luke some shots, see what you got there. If you like it, don't like it, whatever, then go for somebody in the portal. If there is anybody, you can't just take somebody to take somebody. You don't just want some scarecrow out there, but you gotta make some moves here. And I think the Buckeyes will definitely explore options on the O-line. So yeah, you're right, PC. O-line will be the probably the weak spot. PC says, sounds like Howard is pretty similar to McCord, except Howard is a willing and able runner. Yes, and he's got some size to him. Yeah, I like that. I'm with you right there. Let's see. Got to respond. My wife's texting me. She knows I'm on the fucking show live. Anyway. PC says, hit the like button, gang. Yes, please. Back to your previous point, PC. Yeah, having a willing runner, like I mentioned in yesterday's show, is key. and that opens up everything else in the run game, pass game, everything. I mean, if you saw some of the video from practice, I believe it was from Thursday, they were practicing the zone read, the mesh point between quarterback and running back, right? Where the quarterback takes the snap, reads the D end, hands it, to the running back or pulls it. So expect to see more of that. There's probably a little bit of a reason why they're practicing that here in the first week. Running game, running game, running game. I ran through the stats a couple of weeks ago on the Daily Blitz. No, that was just yesterday's show, I think, where I mentioned the how our yards per game rushing the ball have dipped so badly in the last few years. So check that out if you're bored. No. Back to the chat here. PC says, yes, Kelly has to be in the booth. If he's worried about feeling the game at the field level, Day can do that, especially since they are the same mindset. Exactly. And you can communicate that. Like if there's an issue on the sidelines where a player's hurt or something, you can communicate that up to Chip Kelly. Shouldn't be difficult. But yeah, it shouldn't. And they are like of the same brain, right? PC says, yeah, that second portal window is going to be key. I know we're going to lose some, but just hope not anyone that would hurt us too bad. Yeah, exactly. We are going to lose somebody. I'm guessing it's going to be somebody that's, in their fourth, fifth year, something like that, somebody that needs to get on the field. So yeah, you're definitely going to see some people, maybe a couple. I don't think it'll be more than 2 or 3 though. You got guys at the end of the bench here that haven't freaking played. You got even Enoch Vamahi, he's in his 6th year. You could see him going somewhere. Maybe he wants to be closer to home too. But you got guys that haven't played at all. Zen Mahalski, Fitzpatrick, guys like that haven't played at all. So back to the chat here. Jeremiah says, Joe, are you a fan of the NBA? No big deal if you're not. No, I don't watch basketball, college or pro. I used to watch whenever the Buckeyes were good that one time. No, when they had Oden and Conley, when they had Sullinger, Kraft, those teams were fun to watch. Yeah, I remember Jackson. Yeah, Jimmy Jackson came to my high school. He played my high school, Tiffin. He played Tiffin his senior year, my senior year. I'm the same age as him. Came in and started dunking on us, like literally dunking the basketball. I'm like, dude, nobody has ever dunked in this fucking gym before. Occasionally a really tall guy with no athleticism in our school would dunk a tennis ball and we'd be like shitting ourselves. But in a basketball game, he was all over the place. Jimmy Jackson was a stud, man. So yeah, that's the extent of my Buckeye basketball knowledge. I remember Graham Waiters, some of those older guys too, Clark Kellogg. I remember watching them when I was a kid, but yeah, that's a trip down memory lane. Stephen Cherry says, Chip Kelly been smiling ear to ear since arriving in Columbus. Man is ecstatic to be a Buckeye. Yeah. Yeah, he says he just loves being there to coach, right? He was on Pat McAfee yesterday. He said he's just happy to be able to coach 8 or 9 hours a day and, doesn't have to do all the other crap. So we knew that. I mean, everybody knew that about Chip. It was pretty obvious, why he got the hell out of LA, and he's lucky he's in a position financially to make that decision where he can choose happiness. He's only like 60, so he's got, plenty of time to coach as long as he wants, but he can choose his happiness versus having to coach to maintain his lifestyle or whatever, buy another fifth house or whatever. So, yeah, I can imagine. And Columbus is a real city. I mean, it's not like he's going to some outpost like Gainesville or freaking, Washington State or, Tulsa or some shit. He's going to a Columbus, which is what, top 10, top 15 biggest cities in the country. Yeah, I would too. I would be happy too. So yeah, good point. You can see it on Chip Kelly's face. Yeah, he looks happier than shit for sure. PC says Mrs. TBC can wait. No, don't do that. Yeah, I know. Sorry, hon. PC says you're right about that, Steven. Happier than a pig in shit. Exactly. PC says, plus, I don't get the impression Howard will be playing scared. Right. Yeah. I think this is going to be a real QB battle, man, between Devin Brown and Will Howard. I don't agree with some of these beat writers and people that are saying that it's Will Howard's job, like just gifting it to him. I realize that he made like $1 million, if that's true. He got like $1 million from the NIL collectives. Okay, great. But that doesn't mean anything, Oh, Ryan Day does not give a fuck. He has to play the best quarterback. If it's Devin Brown and Devin Brown is healthy, it's Devin Brown. Forget about the money. Try and get it back from collectives if you're not happy. So yeah, I think it's going to be a battle. I think it's going to be a real battle. I just hope that they decide it before the season starts. I don't want to go through this bullshit 2 weeks, 3 weeks into the season. That is not a recipe for winning. Odysseus says running QB threat is what hurts the cheaters, and we lost that threat the last 3 years. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, the numbers are in your favor when you run the QB. You don't even have to do it that much. Sage says, I have relatives in Tiffin. Oh, yeah? I grew up in Tiffin from like age 6. Yeah. Sage, Ohio, a reservoir. Isn't there a lake or a reservoir around Tiffin or something like that? I grew up in Mansfield, but left in 1993. Seems like I remember something like that. There's a river. We had a river, a pool and a pond. Pond would be good for you, but no, we had the Sandusky River, runs north and south up to Sandusky. That's about it. Nothing fantastic. It wasn't that wide. I would say at its widest, Sandusky River's probably a little over 50 yards, something like that. But yeah, used to go down there, throw things in the river, pull things out of the river, shit kids do. Wade through the river across to the other side. You don't have to worry about the tide raising and lowering in a river like you do here. But yeah, it was a river, Sage. I can tell you some stories. Sage says, best man plays. All right. I'm with that at every position. That's what they say, right? They always want to have play the best 11, right? That's the motto. Offense, defense, wherever. So, yeah, play the best 11. That's what it takes. Let's see. Back to the chat. PC says, in Day We Trust, I'm good with whomever he picks. I agree. Although we did trust him last year and he picked Kyle McCord. Not great. Coconut Dreams, what's up? Yep. Best man sees the field, got to earn it, and then play well to keep it. That's right. You got to. in all cases. And again, play the depth, those are my words. But yeah. PC says agreed about the QB battle in the season. I didn't like that either. Yeah, especially the way it ended. Right, hindsight's 2020, of course. But Ken says stop drinking alcohol, embrace 420. Okay, hindsight's 420 then, is what you're saying. All right. I'd like to introduce you to Sean. Maybe check in on the Sunday night show. You guys can have a long conversation on the side. Sage says there was a Reservoir by Timkins plant. Okay. I don't remember that. Where the hell was that? That's a long time ago. I don't remember I think I remember that plant, but I don't remember a reservoir out there. Coconut Dream says my grandma and grandpa lived on Oakwood Drive in Tiffin. Very nice. A lot of Tiffin love in tonight's show. I appreciate it. It's weird. I don't remember where Oakwood Drive is. My Tiffin map is getting blurry. It's getting wrinkled and blurry. Steven says resting starters when possible would be critical this weekend with playoffs looming. Play the young talent, let them gain confidence and experience. Yes. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got to get those young guys in these blowouts. Like I talked about, the first 4 games of the year, all massive blowouts, garbage games. Stadium's going to be virtually empty in the third quarter. Just get them in there, let them get their reps. It's going to pay dividends down the road. And who knows, if you have a run of injuries at one position, like we've seen in recent history, whether it's running backs, cornerbacks, where we're down to our third cornerback and you got to start a true freshman or something, which we shouldn't have to do. But we have seen that problem, where we've gotten the first 2 guys in the rotation injured. Like, you had Chip was starting the game against the Cheaters a couple years ago, and Dallin was backing him up because Trey and Mayan were out. So it can happen. Coconut Dream says lifelong Ohio State fans. That's right. Coconut Dream sounds like you live in Florida. Sage says, but with 16 games, we need a team and a half. Exactly. Yep. A pair and a spare. Exactly. You're going to get into your 85-man roster eventually. You're going to get deeper into them than you ever have before with this 16-game season. 17, if we don't get a bye, but probably 16. So, yeah, you got to your bottom of the roster is going to be used more than ever. I'm not saying number 85 is going to be used a lot, but number 75 could be used more than ever. If you have 10 players that never play, those guys become suddenly more valuable. PC says, got to bounce, gang, keep it coming, Joe. This season is going to be a banger, natty or bust, 100% go Bucks. All right, PC, appreciate you popping in and taking the time. Take care. God bless. That happy stuff. But yeah, so yeah, we'll wind it down here. The Buckeyes, I did want to touch on. Oh, Coconut Dreams. I live in Manila now. Grew up in Fostoria. Oh, yeah. Ohio State grad, football manager at OSU. 86 to 90, 2 years Earl, 3 years Cooper. Nice. Nice little bridge in the gap there between Earl and Coop. That must have been fun. Stephen Cherry already starting with his bold predictions. The Heisman winner will come from Ohio State this season. Book it. Well, Let's just see the odds here as we wind it down. We're going to get out here at exactly 5:30. Let's see what the odds are. Okay. Carson Beck plus 850. Quinn Ewers plus 900. Dylan Gabriel, plus 1,000. Jalen Milroe plus 1,100. Don't touch that one. Jackson Dart plus 1,200. Will Howard plus 1,600. Let's go down here to the rest of the Buckeyes. Oh boy, I don't see any Buckeyes. Why do I see a guy from NC State? I have no other Buckeyes other than Will Howard. Not on this list. This is like almost 30 dudes. Graham Mertz is on this list. You believe that shit? Aiden Childs from Michigan State. Yeah, I don't know what position he plays, but probably quarterback. No other Buckeyes. Dante Moore is even on this freaking list, man. You can put money on Dante Moore, but not Emeka Egbuka or Trey Henderson. Whew. This is from betonline.ag. Anyway, one Buckeye as of right now, anyways. Coconut Dreams says, happy birthday, by the way, Coach Bruce. That's right. It was his birthday today. I read that. He was a legend. Yeah. We used to have black and white photographs, like big poster size ones, framed and everything in our living room. My dad was not a religious guy, unless you count football, Ohio State football, but we didn't have like crosses or pictures of Jesus or anything, religious. It was just photograph of whoever the head coach was at the time. So you had Earl Bruce. Then eventually we added John Cooper. Then we added Jim Tressel. So these monster black and white photographs that were framed. It's freaking hilarious. Yeah. Good shit. Yep. Coach Bruce. Still remember the video of him on his front yard, the band playing, all the Buckeye hits, and right there on his front yard. That was pretty awesome. Yeah. Odysseus says national media are morons. QB's only award because of them. Yeah. Yeah. Heisman sucks. Heisman's garbage. That's a whole other show right there. But, all right. Appreciate everybody popping in. Thank you for hitting the like button. As always, make sure you're subscribed. I'd really appreciate that. And if you're feeling froggy, share it with a friend. I appreciate that as well. So hopefully you'll see us Sunday night. Join us at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We will be here talking Buckeye football again. I want to touch on a little bit of recruiting. We'll talk about some more spring stuff. Take care, Coconut Dreams. Appreciate you and everybody else. Thanks for popping in, and hopefully we'll see you Sunday night. If not, maybe next Friday. All right. Talk to you later. Go Bucks.